I saw the lipstick on his collar before I ever saw her face. That faint red smudge like a secret someone else had already kissed into him. I stared at it while he talked about his day, his voice too casual, his smile a little too wide. He had no idea. I nodded, pretending to listen, while my stomach curled into itself. Later, when he was in the shower, I scrolled through his messages. I don't even remember opening his phone. It was instinct, like my body already knew what my mind couldn't accept. Her name was Maddie. Heart emojis. Voice notes. A picture I wish I could erase from my memory. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just sat there, numb, staring at the evidence of everything I'd feared and still couldn't believe. When he came out, towel slung low on his hips, water dripping from his collarbone, I couldn't even meet his eyes. Not because I was afraid, but because if I looked at him, really looked at him, I would want him anyway. And I did. That night, I let him wrap his arms around me like nothing had happened. His breath warmed the back of my neck. His fingers found mine under the sheets. He pulled me close like he needed me, like he always had. And I let him. I lay there in silence, my heart breaking and my body betraying me. Because despite everything, the ache didn't leave. The need didn't fade. I hated him. I wanted him. I hated that I wanted him. Sometimes the truth isn't clean. It's messy, sharp, seductive. I should have left that night. But instead I stayed. Because I needed to understand something even darker than betrayal. Why being close to him still felt like the only place my body belonged. The next morning he kissed me like he always did, slow, sleepy, familiar. His hand lingered on my waist, thumb tracing lazy circles through my shirt. He whispered something against my hair. Something tender. It was like waking up in a dream you don't want to be real. Except it was. And I was wide awake. I watched him pour coffee like he hadn't destroyed something. He made my cup just how I liked it, adding that splash of oat milk I always forgot. The way he smiled when he handed it to me almost made me forget. Almost. But then his phone buzzed. And I saw her name again. Maddie. He didn't flinch. Just silenced it and slipped it in his back pocket like it meant nothing. Like she meant nothing. Like I hadn't seen everything. I should have said something. God, I wanted to. But the words stuck somewhere behind my teeth. Instead, I took the coffee. I sipped it. I nodded. And I smiled back. We live inside this lie like it's our home. He thinks I don't know. Maybe part of him even hopes I do. Maybe it turns him on, the risk, the secrecy. Or maybe he's just a coward who doesn't want to choose. But I choose every night. Because when the lights go out and the silence comes in, I still let his hands find me. I let him kiss the places he once loved like they were sacred. And sometimes I pretend I'm someone else. Someone he hasn't broken yet. Someone who still believes him when he whispers, "Only you." I don't answer. I just close my eyes and breathe him in, drowning in the memory of who we used to be. Even if it's only for a moment. Even if it's all a lie. The thing about desire is it doesn't care about logic. It doesn't wait for closure or demand justice. Comes when it wants. It lingers long after it should have died. That night, I stood in front of the mirror in nothing but one of his shirts. It still smelled like him, like cedarwood and skin. I stared at myself, wondering who I'd become. Wondering how someone could feel so hollow and still throb with want. He came up behind me quietly, always the predator in our little ritual. His hand slipped around my waist, pulling me back into him like gravity. His lips brushed my neck, and I swore my skin remembered more than my heart ever wanted to. "You okay?" he murmured. I nodded, because what else could I do? His hands were warm, familiar, dangerous. They knew every place I broke and every place that still ached for him. And when he touched me, it wasn't just skin. He reached into the memory of us. The good parts. The nights we laughed until we cried. The mornings he couldn't stop kissing me. He made me forget on purpose. We didn't talk about Maddie. We didn't talk about the lipstick, the messages, the betrayal. We only talked with our bodies, using the language we'd perfected over years of being us. I arched into him, traitorous and trembling. My breath hitched and he knew he always knew. It wasn't love anymore. But it still felt like worship. He kissed me slowly, deliberately, as if trying to rewrite the story with his mouth. And for a moment I let him. Because no matter how much I hated him, my body still remembered what it meant to belong to him. And sometimes remembering feels better than healing. We went on like that for days. Maybe weeks. Time gets slippery when you're living in denial. Every morning he made coffee. Every night he reached for me. And I let it all happen like I was stuck inside some fevered version of my old life. But I wasn't the same. I started seeing things. Tiny details that wouldn't have mattered before. The way he lingered on his phone. The extra cologne. The nights he came home late and tried too hard to seem relaxed. It was all a performance now. And I was tired of clapping. One night, I didn't go to bed. I sat in the living room, wrapped in his hoodie, watching shadows move across the ceiling. When he walked in past midnight, smelling faintly of wine and something floral, he froze. "You're up," he said, like it surprised him. "Where were you?" I asked. A beat. Then the lie. Work thing. Ran late. I didn't press. I just looked at him. Really looked. His shirt was wrinkled, his mouth pinker than usual. His hair mussed in a way that didn't feel like him. He came toward me slowly, trying to read the temperature of the room. I didn't move. Didn't flinch. Just watched. And then, for the first time since the lipstick, I said it out loud. "I know." He stopped cold. The silence between us was heavier than any touch we'd shared. I stood. Walked right past him. Went to the bedroom, not because I forgave him, but because I wasn't ready to be alone with the hurt. When he followed me, he didn't say a word. He just held me from behind, like he always did. And I let him. Because even when you break the spell, the body still remembers the trance. And sometimes silence feels safer than truth. It didn't get better after that night. It just got quieter. He didn't try to deny it again. Didn't offer excuses. But he also didn't stop holding me. And I didn't stop letting him. That's the part one still can't explain. Some nights, the distance between us felt like an entire war zone, two bodies on opposite sides of a bed, barely breathing. Other nights, he would reach for me like he'd been starving. And I would give in like I owed him one more taste. There was something reckless about it. Something dangerous and hypnotic. We weren't making love anymore, we were fighting with skin, trying to bruise the truth into each other. I think we both knew it couldn't last. But neither of us wanted to be the first to walk away. One night, he touched me differently. Slower. Like he wanted to say something through the way his fingertips traced my spine. My heart buckled. Because part of me, God help me, still wanted to believe there was something real left in him. He whispered my name like a prayer. Kissed me like he remembered who I used to be. Who we used to be. I arched toward him, not because I trusted him, but because some parts of my body still did. And when he held my face, looked into me like he was searching for forgiveness, I almost broke. But then I saw it. That flicker of guilt. Not devotion. Not love. Guilt. And I knew this wasn't healing. It was hunger. The kind that burns everything it touches. I didn't stop him that night. But the ache he left inside me, it wasn't just desire anymore. It was the beginning of something else. Something final. Because you can't stay where you're only worshipped in the dark. The last time we touched, I didn't close my eyes. I wanted to see him for exactly what he was. Every shadow. Every hesitation. Every lie tucked behind those perfect lips. He kissed me like he always did, slow, almost reverent, but this time I didn't melt. I didn't ache. I just watched him. And I think he knew. Something in his breath changed. Something in the way he held me. Softer. Sadder. Like he was holding a goodbye he couldn't say out loud. I didn't stop him. I let him map my skin one last time. Let him whisper things I couldn't believe anymore. Let my body answer even as my heart fell silent. But when he fell asleep beside me, arms draped across my waist like a man claiming something, I knew I wouldn't wake up there again. I slipped out from under him before the sun rose. Moved carefully as if not to wake a dream I no longer wanted. I packed quietly like the silence was part of the ritual. I didn't leave a note. Didn't need to. The bed still held the shape of me. That was enough. And as I walked out the door into the sharp clarity of morning, I realized something. I had been sleeping with a man I no longer loved just to feel the echo of who I used to be. But echoes fade. And I was finally ready to hear my own voice again. Because sometimes leaving isn't the hardest part. It's staying after you already know the truth.